Hello YouTube, CivilianSnowman here, and today I'm going to review the new film Where the Wild Things Are, starring a young boy called Max Records and directed by Spike Jonze, who we all know and love from Being John Malkovich and Adaptation. The plot follows a young boy named Max, played by Max Records, who feels sort of neglected by his family, his mother and his older sister, and wants to try and get their attention by being naughty, basically. And the first third of the film follows his exploits of being naughty and shows how he interacts with his mum and his sister, and basically sets him up as a character. It's upon a huge family argument that he runs away from home and creates in his mind this island inhabited by giant creatures called the Wild Things, and basically spends the rest of the film there interacting with those and going on adventures and stuff. So that's basically the general outline of the film. I thought the first third of this film, where Max was in the real world interacting with his family, was absolutely brilliant. I don't think that films come much better than this. The scenes of him arguing with his sister and trashing her bedroom when her friends destroyed an igloo he made out of snow in the garden. He runs upstairs and trashes her bedroom, and then the scenes with him and his mother, they're all so well played. It's like not cliche. It could very well become cliched, and it really doesn't. It feels real and organic to the story. Spike Jonze has grounded this in the real world. For example, when Max runs into his sister's bedroom, the set design is absolutely brilliant, because it could have been a generic teenage girl's room with boy band posters up on the wall and stuff, which it isn't. I mean, it is a teenage girl's room, and you can tell, but it doesn't feel forced. It feels organic. Like, everything in that room has a story, and I really like the approach, and this example can be applied to the rest of the film, because Spike Jonze really does kind of give that approach to everything in the movie and makes everything feel real and organic, and none of it feels forced, and I think that's quite an accomplishment on the part of the director. There is a scene where Max is laying under his mum's desk while she's typing at the computer, and he's kind of pulling on her tights and stuff. And I honestly think that this is one of the most beautiful scenes that I've seen in a long time, because it really establishes what kind of relationship they have, and it doesn't rely on dialogue and exposition to do so. It's just the little gestures between them. Max's mother is played by Catherine Keener, who is obviously a brilliant actress. If you've seen her in Being John Malkovich, she even popped up in Adaptation as well. The relationship between the two of them is really quite beautiful, and when they argue, it makes it kind of hit home, because you know that they really do love each other, but which makes this argument feel all the more organic. But this is all stuff to get Max to the island where he meets the Wild Things, but it's a shame that the film couldn't stay in the real world, because that's where the emotional core and the meat of the story really is. Once Max reaches the island and encounters the Wild Things, who are voiced by actors such as James Gandolfini plays Carol, and some other actors who do the voices are like Paul Dano, Chris Cooper and Forrest Whitaker. And this is another thing that I think Spike Jonze has done really well, is cast the voices of the Wild Things, because instead of just getting celebrity A-listers and make it like every other animated movie always has movie stars doing the voices of talking animals and shit, you know, he goes for character actors and theatre actors and thespians, like modern day thespians, if you want to call them that, and it really works well. I thought the actors all managed to inject some unique personality into each of the creatures, and it's a testament to their performances, as well as Spike Jonze's casting decisions, that just make the characters live, if you will. Another thing this film does really well is keep it grounded in the real world, even once Max encounters the Wild Things. And let me elaborate on that point, because as I mentioned, like, the beginning first third of the film, which is astonishing, feels very real world, like you can relate to it, and it looks, you know, like it could happen and stuff like that. It's very much grounded in reality. And when he gets on the island and with the wild things and stuff, when they're playing games such like ripping trees out of the ground, throwing boulders at each other and stuff, it really, Spike Jonze really tries hard to convey just how dangerous it is for like a 10-year-old boy to be in the middle of this. And there's a shot where one of the wild things knocks a tree down, and it like clips Max, and you like, it's sat in your seat going, holy crap, you know, run away, these things are gonna kill you. But they do this over and over in the film, like they're having a mud fight and there's just explosions of mud near Max, and you're thinking, you know, this kid's going to end up with, you know, he's going to be crippled or something. It's awful. But that's something that Spike Jonze really commits to, because he establishes this universe at the beginning of the movie and says, yes, this is the real world. You know, when Max does encounter these fantastical creatures, Spike Jonze makes sure that the film remains in this real world, despite the fact that there's big furry creature, teddy bear looking things walking around, and I think that's a really cool aspect of the movie. I think my main problem with the film is the fact that we spend too much time on the island with the wild things, and while the footage is still beautiful and very well done, it just feels like it's missing something. It's missing that X factor, and I don't know whether this would have worked or not, but I'm curious to see what the film would have been like if it kept cutting back to the real world, you know, with Max's family and stuff, and kind of intercut the two. But to have him just with the wild things for like an hour and a half, it starts to grate after a while. It just feels like it goes on too long. I could have done more with Max in the real world. It just I didn't want the film to outstay its welcome, and it was bordering on outstaying its welcome, but it didn't. Don't worry about that, you know. But that was one thing that I would have changed, and my only real niggle with the film, because I love the tone and I love the cinematography. It's just gorgeous to look at. It really is a gorgeous movie. It's just the pacing maybe is slightly off, because once you're on the island, it does tend to slow down. But yeah, that's only really a minor niggle. The whole idea of the movie, I think, is just really interesting. The fact that Max is having to confront different aspects of his own personality and his own emotions, which the wild things represent different aspects of Max. And the way he interacts with them, I think it's a really kind of clever and deep idea. You know, this film has been marketed as a kids' movie, which it isn't by any stretch of the imagination. So don't go to this thinking it's a kids' movie, because it's not. It's a film for adults about being a kid. There is a big difference in that. It's well worth it for adults, and I highly recommend it, because I thought it was just a beautiful movie. So time for a rating. I'm going to give Where the Wild Things Are 4 stars. Now, I really expected to be giving it 5, but I just thought the scenes on the island, when you spend more than an hour there, it just went on a bit too long for me. But that was my only problem with the movie, so I'm knocking a star off for that. But the rest of it's absolutely gorgeous. The first act of the movie is astonishing. It's so well done. I just wish the rest of the film had lived up to that first act. But apart from that, it's well worth your time. Go and see it. It's a brilliant movie, and I'm very interested to see what Spike Jonze does next. So yeah, that's 4 stars from me. I hope you've enjoyed this review. This is CivilianSnowman signing out. I'll see you later. Bye.